Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. As you guys are well aware of, SVB, Signature Bank, they have officially went bankrupt. This is probably not a huge surprise to a lot of people. Now, we did have a Fed meeting today that was unscheduled, that is very interesting, that popped up on the economic calendar for 10:30 in the morning today. So we want to see what happens here in after hours, if we do get some new announcements or some new updates from all of this, because today has really been a day that we haven't got a lot of news. There really hasn't been much that has actually happened today, and that's pretty interesting compared to, all the updates that we got yesterday. So it's a little bit weird, and we're waiting on new information. Now, you do have the inflation report that comes out tomorrow, and that's going to be very important for the markets, as well as specifically for AMC, the March 14th vote. So I want to go over the data with you guys, get you guys caught up to speed on what is happening and where we currently sit. So let's get into it. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, source your comments, questions, or concerns if you have not already. Now, markets are up sharply today. NASDAQ up 1.5%, S&P up almost 1%. What's really happening today is there's a mass exodus from the banks. You are seeing essentially bank runs from investors on these banks trying to get out as fast as possible. A lot of this money is going into defensive style stocks like some of your Apples and large tech companies, even though this is going to be a real disaster for everyone involved for quite a long amount of time. This story is not nearly over. In fact, it's likely just beginning. So that's really what you're seeing today. That's why the indexes are up, because stocks that do have the heaviest concentrations of these index are the defensive tech names, and they are catching a bid today. Now, with the inflation report coming out tomorrow, and by the way, this is the closed door Fed emergency meeting that happened at 10:30 in the morning. You've never seen one of these pop up throughout the last, couple of years. Ever since COVID, you have not had this serious of a Fed meeting. Now, who knows if we'll get new information on that? It will likely be in after hours. Now, tomorrow, inflation report, 7:30 in the morning, and this is, I believe, delayed 1 hour, so it should be around 8:30 in the morning. The core inflation rate year over year, you are expecting 5.6%. Last month's reading was 5.6% as well. Expected to stay about the same. The headline inflation rate year over year expected to come in at about 6.1%. Last month's reading was 6.4%, so a slight deceleration there. The headline inflation rate month over month, you are expecting 0.5%. Previous number was 0.5%. And the core inflation rate month over month, you are expecting that to come in at 0.5%. Last month's reading was 0.4%. So basically across the board, you are expecting hotter inflation data, right? Some of these aspects, like the inflation rate, the core inflation rate year over year, you're expecting that to stay relatively the same. You're expecting the headline number to come down a bit, but month over month, you are expecting that to remain very hot and even accelerating on the core inflation month over month. So that will be interesting. Now, I honestly don't think it's going to be the main story compared to the bank failures and who is next, essentially, in all of this. How much contagion are we going to see? How much of a financial risk is this? Is this the new, 2008 Great Recession just starting? Or is this isolated events where the markets can get past it? I find it hard to believe that the latter is the case, but we'll see, and we should get new updates here in the next 24 hours. If we do not, then inflation will be the next big story. I think it's pretty well, expected. These numbers, they're pretty high, so it's not going to be a huge shocker when inflation comes in high. If it comes in hotter than these already high expectations, that's where you're going to have a bigger problem. If it comes in lower than expectations, well, that's where the markets might relax a little bit and give the Fed more room to try to help this banking situation out. So that's going to be the big event coming tomorrow. As you guys do know, with AMC, tomorrow is March 14th. It's going to be a big voting day, and we're going to get the results, essentially, of the vote that has been taking place over the last couple of weeks, whether or not to do a 1-for-10 reverse stock split, to authorize 25 million additional more shares, and some smaller initiatives. Now, even though we're going to get a yes or no answer, nothing is going to happen at least until April 27th. So I do think with that mindset considered, you probably get a bullish reaction in AMC stock, as AMC has likely fallen over the last couple of days in anticipation that this was going to come back as a yes. I mean, it's pretty well known that AMC rigged the voting process for this whole proposal, right? Intera Capital, they are the vote. They own the voting power for this whole initiative. So I do think the court proceedings April 27th are going to go with the Allegheny County Pension Fund, and they are going to essentially prove that AMC did rig the vote, that we don't really have a vote. So I think with all things considered, when it comes down to that, it's going to be a bullish reaction. Now, on top of that, with banks going bust and banks essentially failing, to see some 4-share recalls really makes a lot of sense here, as banks are trying to shore up their balance sheets. Look at some banks like Fifth Third Bank, whatever that bank is called. I can't even think of it. 53rd Bank, Fifth Third Bank, something like that. I don't bank with them. They're not really in my area of Michigan too much. And some other banks that are using JP Morgan as kind of leverage to shore up their balance sheets with right credit lines, as well as the Fed's facility that they just opened. That's going to shore up a little bit of concerns. But what happens to the markets, right? What's JP Morgan doing behind the scenes? What's Fifth Third Bank doing as well behind the scenes, right? Or some of these smaller second or third tier banks, they're trying to bring in as much capital as possible. They're going to call on the riskiest loans that are more liquid, like your stock market loans, and have people get out of those. So I think it's pretty interesting, and maybe this rally today is actually trying to burn some of that premium as well, because these market makers, they don't like to pay out, right? They don't want everyone to be in puts and the markets to fall. They can't do that, or vice versa, right? They don't want everyone to be in longs and the markets to rally, and that's why you kind of get this opposite effect, right? A lot of people are bearish, markets ripping. Next day, possibly tomorrow, everyone's going to be bullish again and the markets are going to fall. That's kind of how you are sitting here in 2023. Nonetheless, we are going to wait for new updates in regards to all of that. AMC stock is up 1.12% at the time of recording this video. If we take a look at the Ortex data with AMC, give it a second to update. I was looking over the S&P options today, and the large orders that are over $10 million a piece, all of them are puts. So that didn't look very good at all, but honestly pretty clear to probably see that there's going to be a lot of put options on the S&P here today. Even though the markets are not necessarily going down, there is a lot of protection that is being placed on the markets. Now, AMC, 23.73% short interest of free float, 122.5 million shares that are currently sold short. Cost to borrow average 253%, cost to borrow max 286%, cost to borrow minimum of negative 1.24%. Interactive brokers short availability 103.39%, 250,000 shares that are currently available. AMC still on the threshold securities list, as we reported to you guys in the last video. There's millions and millions of shares that need to be bought back by the end of this week, starting off at 1.8 million FTDs today on Monday, leading into Friday with 6.8 million FTDs. It's basically a ramp up every single day of more and more FTDs. Now, as far as the option activity for the day, no shocker here, no surprise. Positive order value of 6%, 7 orders totaling $2.19 million. Basically, anytime AMC is trading, really, green or red, it doesn't even matter, right? AMC can be up 10%. The positive order value is going to be like 10 or 20%. Maybe. It does go to show, I think, there is a lot of that hedging done in the put options, and you are seeing a lot of that happening because of this March 14th vote. Some people trying to protect their asses if AMC does not move the way that they would like the stock to. And I do think the options are hiding a lot of the potential short interest. If we take a look at the Stocko tracker data and go ahead and refresh this page, For this Friday, 32,000 calls currently in the money, 658,000 calls out of the money. If you look at the put side, 272,000 puts in the money and 902,000 puts out of the money. That is a lot of option activity. Basically, ready to give us a big move by the end of this week, and I think that's exactly what is going to happen. Now, you are neither in this you have fallen quite a bit. I should put it like that. You have fallen quite a bit over the last 5 or 6 trading days now, but you're still in an overall bullish uptrend ever since hitting the lows in early January. Now, you're not in a super bullish uptrend. It's not like you're up here, right? But you're not under the major support levels at $4.50. You're still $1 higher than that as of right now. So you still do have some room, some substantial room to fall before you would be in a bearish downtrend, before you would see likely a lot more shorting activity, or some of those shorts actually start to pay off for the hedge funds. Nonetheless, I think it's very well possible tomorrow, at some point probably later in the day or in after hours tomorrow, AMC could easily rally above $6 per share and get us back into a more firm bullish uptrend. So that about does it for this video. Not too much else to actually say that we have not covered before. Trying not to be too redundant here in this video. If you guys want more information on the March 14th vote, as well as the potential emergency Fed rate cut that could be coming right around the corner, and much more, check out the videos we posted earlier in the day today. That is going to be all. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, source your comments, questions, or concerns down below in the comment section if you have not already. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one.